All right, podcast family, welcome back to another episode of the Hook It podcast. It's been a minute since we've done one of these regular episodes, but obviously I want to say a massive thank you to everybody out there who has continued to support this podcast. It's been a crazy year, 13 months, whatever it's been, while we've been going through lockdowns all around the world. And thank you so much for everyone who has enjoyed the Lockdown Companion with Ollie Wilkins and I and some amazing guests. It's been so much fun, and we are hopefully going to continue doing something very similar forever, hopefully. So we've got a regular episode of the podcast today. I met Tim Warwood, our guest, on a shoot for Sax Underwear. It's called A Brief Discussion, where we got a bunch of guys together to talk about mental health and some of the struggles that men go through. If you haven't seen it before, there is a link below in the show description to check out all of the videos. And I instantly got on with Tim. He's an awesome guy. Tim was an ex-professional snowboarder. He's from Birmingham in the UK, and he made the transition over to being a TV presenter. He's worked with RedBull on loads of events. He's the presenter of BBC's Ski Sunday, along with working on CBBC and loads of other cool things which we get into on this episode. Beautiful segue though. This episode is brought to you by Sax Underwear, and today I want to talk to you about these. The Hyperdrive from Sax. The Hyperdrive is Sax's full compression fit underwear. These things are next level. They have micro mesh, which means that you don't get hot and sweaty. They instantly wick away moisture. They have ventilated mesh panels, which you can see down the sides. Not the best, I'll be honest with you, not the best angle. Obviously, they feature the patented ballpark pouch. That's where your nuts sit, prevents any skin-on-skin friction, no more chafing. And what's also really cool about the Hyperdrive is they feature this cool little stash pocket on the back, so you can put your house key in there if you're going for a run or a bike ride. You're not going to lose it. Amazing. If you haven't tried Sax before, saxunderwear.com, or just go to your local Sax stockist wherever you are in the world. Ski, snow, bike shops, outdoor stores, fashion stores. No doubt you're going to find Sax anywhere and everywhere. And that's pretty much it, guys. I don't want to hold this thing up too much, so let's get into today's episode and let's welcome to the show Mr. Tim Warwood. Let's go. I guess technically we're recording now, so do you a bit of an intro in a sec, but I'm just going to open this can of pop. Oh, yeah, there you go.
I'm going to open my can of adult pop.
Ooh, look at us.
Yeah, man, we are rock and roll.
What are you gone for, Brewdog?
Brewdog Punk IPA.
Of course.
Do a lot of work for Brewdog.
What an athlete. What a representative of the Brewdog brand.
I'm pretty good, aren't I?
Yeah. I'm not a representative of Coke. I only have one of these probably once every 3 months I crack a Coke out.
But then they're still nice. They're still delicious.
I could never have 2 litres of it, or like a litre or anything like that in a day. Nah.
Mate, and also, yeah, if you have too much of it, it literally rots your teeth away.
Yeah, it does, literally. Literally. Anyway, let's do a brief introduction, although I might struggle with this. But
Go on.
Tim Warwood, former pro snowboarder, lovely looking man, TV presenter, and now podcaster. Thanks for coming on the podcast, dude. I appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Awful introduction. I'm sorry. That's the worst. I should have really, beefed it up.
You can do it in the edit, can't you? You can add
yeah.
I don't know, Bhangra music and elephants and monkeys and cymbals, and give it the kind of Aladdin theme or something.
Could you, mate? Yeah.
I don't, do you know what, that only popped into mind because the kids were watching Aladdin earlier on today, and some of the dance scenes in the new kind of motion actual, not animated. It's got Will Smith as the genie.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Is it? I've not seen those because my partner refuses to watch anything modern Disney because she's such a die-hard Disney fan of the originals that if I even suggested, I remember saying, I think Jungle Book's pretty good, and she was like, no. All right. We just watch the original then.
It's it is good though.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah. You might have to sneakily watch it when she's not around.
Yeah, I might have to. We don't have that Disney Plus thing either, which I should get, to be honest, because I've been absolutely frothing to watch Mighty Ducks for ages.
Oh, mate, of course. Yeah.
Just such a good movie, and I've not seen it since I was a kid, and it's one of those things that, it just keeps appearing in little, like, subliminal ways. You're just I should see that, and I've not got Disney Plus, so I can't see it, and you can't find it anywhere.
Well, the other thing to remember with Disney Plus, and obviously Disney, the term instantly, bombards you with princesses and castles and Cinderella and all that kind of stuff. But actually, the Disney back catalogue is massive. Loads of movies. Plus, there's now Discovery on there. And there's this new Disney Star.
Right.
Is it Disney Star? So there's so much stuff on there. And actually, for The Mandalorian and all the Star Wars movies...
I've never seen Star Wars either, you see.
Oh, mate, you've got so much good stuff to watch. Get Disney.
Never seen it.
Treat yourself.
I'm one of those guys that avoids all of those, like the big blockbuster things. Everyone's like, Lord of the Rings this and Star Wars and blah. And I'm like, nope, don't want to do it. Nope, don't want to see it. Weird.
That's all right. I suppose you've just got to just not stick to your principles, but if that's how you feel, that's fine. I mean, Game of Thrones, though.
Never seen it.
Breaking Bad.
Never seen it.
Sweet Jerusalem's slave problems. You've never seen Breaking Bad. The greatest TV show of all time.
Never seen it.
Oh, God,
never
mate.
seen it.
Well, I'm jealous in a way because you've got that to look forward to, which is nice.
I guess. I don't know what else I've been doing with my time.
Getting rad on bikes. And
Nothing productive.
And running crazy runs. I've been meaning to talk to you about your run. How was your run? Tell us about you. What was it before?
The 48-mile thing?
Yeah.
It was all right, actually, man. Honestly, it was... And I'm not a runner, and no doubt I've beaten this to death a little bit on the podcast because I've talked about it a little bit, but I'm not a runner. I just like, especially because we've been in lockdown and not really having much energy and enthusiasm, I just think setting those little challenges ahead of yourself all the time is quite... It gives you that reason every day to keep working out, to keep doing something. Yeah. So for those who don't already know, if you're a new listener, I did the 4x4 by 48, which is a challenge set by David Goggins. And the principle of this challenge is you run 4 miles every 4 hours for 48 hours. And honestly, dude, I feel like anyone could do that.
Really?
Yeah, because the 4 mile run isn't that tough. It was more of a head game of like keeping going.
Yeah.
And like for me, I when I say I'm not a runner, that's probably not that true because I do run quite a bit, but just not. I wouldn't class myself as a runner. Like I don't have running socks, put it that way, and I don't have like tight fitting clothing or anything like that. I just usually run in a pair of board shorts or some sack shorts or whatever. And like for me, like that 4 miles is like the worst part of going for a run because everything hurts. Your ankles hurt, my knees give up a little bit.
Yeah.
And then you're at home again, and then you've got, 3.5 hours of rest. But so it was that was the hardest bit because you never like warm up and get going. If that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
But it was good. It was, I think, like I say, every now and again you need to keep. There's like a confidence that comes with that because you've achieved something.
Yeah,
no doubt you've done stuff like that in the past a little bit, and you just feel a bit more self-confident. You're like, yeah, if I can get through that, like. I can get through whatever life's gonna throw at me for the next however many months. So, and I'm doing a challenge at the minute, which is really fun. It's through the bike company that I ride for called Focus, and they're doing a challenge called Beat Your Screen Time. So you have to ride more every day than what you spend looking at your phone.
Oh wow! Okay, that's wicked.
It's cool, really cool. Absolutely loving it, man. Like every day, I've pretty much beaten it because I do take these things. OCD.
Do you just ride around looking at your phone though?
Yes, that's a great idea. I didn't think of that.
And then just turn your phone off 5 minutes before you cycle back home.
You're like, I beat it by 5 minutes today. But now I've been like really trying to curb the phone thing down. Like, dude, I checked it a few weeks ago before this thing started, and it was at 3 hours 45, and I was like, what am I doing with my life?
I'm going to make you feel better. I bet mine's worse than that. I'm going to have a quick check now.
Because you're like, and we'll get into this, but you're very active on the old phone, I've noticed, with social media and stuff. It's constant, isn't it?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
You do a lot of like Instagram Live, not Instagram Live, like Instagram stories and stuff like that.
Well, here you go. Daily average, 3 hours 19.
That's actually below the oh no, it's not. 3 hours 15 is the average.
Oh, is it?
UK average, yeah.
Oh, okay. So I'm I'm 4 minutes over that, which isn't good. Today's been good though. Today has been Thursday. What I've been on today? It doesn't show you the day, does it? Oh, it does, but it's little. It's just over 2 for today so far, so that's pretty good. Been in the garden though, and I've been getting all adult in the garden.
Have you? Yeah.
Yeah, I've been raking the moss out the grass. Put down some weed killer, water the grass.
Adulting, man, hard.
I bought, do you know what, I went to Aldi, middle aisle of Aldi, and they had them shoes with the spikes on the bottom that you clamp around your own feet. So when you walk on your grass, you're aerating the grass, you're putting the holes in to help the nutrients. Had me a set of them, didn't I? So
did you?
Yeah,
I feel like you'd have something like that in your like array of stuff. You know, maybe crampons. Is that not a similar thing?
Yeah, they are. They're like poor man's crampons, basically. But so every spring, summer, and autumn, I'm out there aerating the lawn, getting its. But it
sounds technical, even if it's not.
It's and it isn't at all. It basically involves me like stomping around the grass like a madman. No doubt the neighbours looking over the fence at me like, "What the hell is this guy doing?" Dragging some illegal fertiliser up and down to try and get it. Bought off some guy off the A38 on the dodgy lay-by. He's like, I want some of this fertiliser. So yeah, no, it's So yeah, I've been adulting today, so it's probably why the phone use is down.
Good. Yeah, that's good. I've been doing something similar actually. I've just had the bathroom done. So I haven't personally been adulting, but I've been doing that like, you know, can I help mate? And like, do you want a cup of tea? I've just been doing that for a few weeks and it's been amazing. Like just having a dude in the house that I can just like riff with has been so much fun.
Wicked. You need it, don't you? And that's part of the job anyway, isn't it? It's cups of tea and coffee and banter.
He's loved it here because every day I've been nipping over to the old like little bakery and stuff and coming back. I'm like, what do you want? Do you want like croissants, donuts,
cheese twists?
I love it. I love that bakery, bro. I'm all over it.
Love it. So how's the bathroom now then? Is it done?
Oh mate, it's insane. It's beautiful. It's really nice, honestly. And this whole thing, it's been a bit of a running joke again on the podcast that I basically fucked the bathroom up. Because I was going to do a bit. Basically, this all started with a leaking tap, and I was like, well, if I buy 2 taps, I might as well buy 2 more taps for the basin. Correct. There's a leaky bath tap, hot leaky bath tap. That's how this started. Bought the taps, 40 quid.
Perfect.
Bought 2 more taps, 80 quid. Thought, well, if I'm fitting the taps, I might as well re-grout the tiles. So
perfect. Yeah.
Do the grout. Scraped all the grout out.
Oh, that's a big job, innit? That
shit job. It's only a small bathroom, but it was still like a whole day.
Ugh.
And then I thought, well, I'm doing that. I might as well put a new shower screen on.
Yeah, why wouldn't you?
Why wouldn't you? It goes to take the shower screen off, and it pulled off like 8 tiles.
Oh no!
And they're just like smashed. And then I'm like, oh, now what? So then I'm like, well, do you budget back together, or do you just like count your losses and just have a whole new bathroom? So I was just like, I can't deal with it. Just find someone who can come and just install a full bathroom. So
wicked.
It escalated from a 35-40 quid pair of taps to like a $3,500 bathroom.
Oh my god.
But hey, it's nice at least. It looks good. It feels better. So yeah. Anyway, good. So I wanted to quickly explain to people why I wanted to have you on the podcast. So we met doing the Saks campaign.
Yes.
A brief discussion, which has been out for months now.
Yeah.
And I feel like I always do this with guests. I'm always like, thankfully, finally, we've got to do this. But we've been talking about doing this episode for, 6 months? Probably a bit longer.
Probably 6 months. Yeah.
So I'm sorry. We've both been, you've been busy doing your stuff. And
6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Absolutely.
We've been busy. And then we went back into lockdown. So for me, that little series that Ollie and I do, Lockdown Companions, a weekly podcast, and I know you do a lot of podcasting, and you'll know that it is quite a lot of effort. Like it doesn't just happen. So I've been like spending a day doing that, and I just not had time to do much else, to be honest. So
no,
but thankfully, man, I'm stoked because
it's an honour. Thanks for having me on. It's always one of those things, isn't it, when people say, "Oh, will you come on?" And don't get me wrong, I think this is about the 2nd or 3rd one I've ever done, but it's nice when you get asked. It's I don't know, you feel a bit special, don't you? So it's quite nice to be asked. I've
done a few other ones as well, and I really enjoy it.
Yeah.
And even though I've done however many episodes of this, I mean over a couple of hundred now, It's still...
Wowzers, have you really?
Yeah, I reckon. It must be now, man. It must be. Like, of the regular podcast now, this must be like 110 or something, but then they've done like loads of little sub-series and stuff like that.
And when did you start this podcast?
Ooh, I think it was 2016.
So you see, you were like way ahead of the curve. I remember you telling me that, how you were... you were doing podcasts before podcasts were cool. I
feel like they got cool, and then they went... like, when I started listening to podcasts, probably 2013, maybe 2014. Yeah, maybe 2013, actually. So they were, like, cool, and then they disappeared for a bit.
Yeah.
And then they seem to have come back, like, firing right now. Like, there's tons. And yeah, it's really cool, dude, because, mine was the first mountain bike podcast. It definitely was on it early. Mm-hmm. And there's loads now, and there's some really good ones as well, which is sick. And I feel like podcasting is more of like it feels like a community effort. I don't know why, but I feel like, I've got like a WhatsApp group with all the other podcasters, not all, but most of the other mountain bike podcasters in there, and we like help each other, we exchange information. I'm always like, if you move to a new microphone or a recording platform or whatever, just try and help each other, and it's cool, and it's an honor that most of these podcasts are, athletes that have started them who I used to look up to, and have like helped them start them, and it's been an amazing journey, man. Honestly, absolutely amazing.
But it's like you say, it's there is a graft to it, isn't there? There's a graft to anything that you do, but I think with this, it feels a bit more curated, and it feels like when you do it, there's a bit more love goes into it. They feel a bit more personable for some reason, and
it's been for me, if you look at it, the big picture, it's been like a massive learning curve, and almost a journey of like my own self-confidence, because I'm definitely wasn't like the most confident person when I started this, and then I think getting a few over the line, and then starting to talk to people who are quite literally like your heroes within mountain biking and action sports, and then I don't know, it's done a lot. I've met amazing people. I've got legit friends around the world who I used to like look up to, and was like, fuck, as if like I'm gonna get to speak to this guy,
Amazing.
And now the friends, it's really sick, man. And so what about your like, I want to get into this a little bit more, but like, what about your podcast and stuff?
So here you go, you ready for this classic? I did a podcast years ago, and actually I've worked in radio, so I've done some radio shows, and a bit back, I think it was, I say ages ago, it was like maybe 2018 or 2017, I started a podcast called 20 Minutes Inside Tim, and it was a podcast which I recorded. And it was 20 minutes, start to finish, uncut, and I would literally cut it on 20 minutes, whether I was mid-conversation, mid-flow, and it was just whatever came out of my head. But the crux was, and this is, I've got to be careful, slightly illegal when I say this, but the whole crux was I was always driving down the motorway. So I'd do it, I'd set my laptop up, I'd wedge my microphone on the desk, and I'd, on the dashboard even, and I'd record it from a motor as I was driving the car. So I'd hit record in the services, and I'd pull out and I'd start driving. And
that's just amazing. Chat.
And it would be the other slight premise was what I did last week, what I was doing this week, and what I was going to do next week. So I'd loosely kind of give it 3 sections like that. So anyway, did that 20 minutes inside Tim, very unsuccessful, didn't do much with it. And then when lockdown came around, when lockdown hit, we started using Zoom for Brewdog. So our friend was working at Brewdog at the time, and she asked us, would you host these Brewdog Open Arms pub nights? So we were like, never heard of Zoom, but let's give it a go. And this was honestly like week 1 of first lockdown.
Really? They were straight on it?
Yeah, they were straight on it. And we had, we did 16 weeks in a row, every Friday night, pub night, and for the first 10 weeks, we had 1,000 people every week on the Zoom chat.
Just doing from all over the world too.
From all over the world, just tuning in, and we were doing quizzes, and we had musical guests and comedians and magicians and all like random shit.
Wow.
And it was really good. It was really good. But from using Zoom, and I bought myself a different microphone, and I bought a few bits, and then I was like, actually, we could podcast through this. I think this could work. So started doing that, and my mate Gendel, we got together, my best mate, who I've been best mates since we were 15, one of I present with him on telly as well, and we do a few bits and bobs. And I said, come on, we're going to do a podcast. And he went, well, what's it going to be? And I went, I don't know, it'll be... Well, let's just talk for 20 minutes, because that was the only thing I knew. So I was like, let's just do it for 20 minutes. And he's like, all right, I quite like that, because he's a bit more considered than me. I'm a bit more cocksure, dare I say it. Like, I'm a bit more like, it'll be fine. Let's just chat. It'll be fine.
It's the best approach, bro, I'm sure.
But whereas he's a bit more like, well, what are we going to talk about, and how is it going to translate, and how will people engage, and all this. So I'm like, no, don't worry about that. Let's just talk. So we just, I said, look, we'll talk for 20 minutes. He was like, okay, that's good. And he's like, well, why don't we chat every single Monday and talk about the weekend that we've just had? I was like, great idea. So we started doing it. So it's called Tim and Genn's Weekend Podcast.
Yeah.
And it's literally, we chat about Friday night, Saturday and Sunday, what we did.
It's cool, man. I listened to the latest one today.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I did. Because, and I think people listening to this, if they have been listening to like what Ollie and I do, the lockdown stuff, which is basically like you were just saying, we just sit, we press record.
Yeah.
And all sorts of things have come up over the last year. From having weird guests, crazy guests, to partnerships with Tunnocks. Like all
yes, I saw that. Amazing.
All this weird stuff's come up. And I honestly think that if anyone listening to this enjoys any aspect of the Lockdown Companion, go and listen to Tim's podcast, because it's pretty much it's similar, isn't it? Without any bike chat.
Yeah, it is.
Really?
And it's mundane chat, but we've started small, obviously. We've not put any, we've not spent any money on it, other than, like you say, the platforms that you use to record it on now, and a couple of microphones and a beauty light, so I look really pretty. But no marketing or anything. Not spent any money there, and so like it's been a slow grower, and we don't have the biggest audience in the world, but it's really chimes with people, and it's been really I think through lockdown, just making people realise that actually everybody's doing nothing. Everybody's out there literally watching Netflix and walking the same walk. I mean, one day, the highlight of Gendell's weekend, one weekend, was going on his daily walk but turning left instead of right, and this was a momentous occasion. And but it's funny how you could talk about that kind of stuff for ages.
Mate,
plus he's my best mate, and so I can really take the piss out of him, and him to me as well. And I think it's just it's the pub table chat that we're all missing, really, a little bit. It is.
That's exactly what people seem to say with ours. It's like, I feel like I'm in the pub with you. I feel like I'm down, just sat at a trail somewhere or something, just chatting. And that's, ultimately, if you've got a good relationship with whoever you're doing it with, it's so easy. Like we always get to the end and we're like, how long? Oh my God, an hour and 40 minutes. What have we even spoken about? Like, what was it?
It makes show notes a nightmare, doesn't it? Because you're thinking, what did we talk about? Then you have to go back and listen through it.
I can honestly say I've never done show notes. I would never do that.
To be honest, mine end up being like, nobody ever reads these. Pre-Meg, like just random stuff. But
it's cool. I love it. Honestly, I listened today. I've listened to a few of them, to be honest with you. My podcasting's like dropped off because I'm at home so much. I used to listen when I was driving, and now
it's consumption is down, isn't it, in podcasting? I don't know the stats, so like ignore everything I say. But if you look at, say, podcasting versus YouTube, like the numbers of YouTube of channels is like 30, 40 million or whatever it might be, but still there's only just over 1 million podcasts. So there's so few. And whilst the numbers of podcasts have gone up, the consumption of them is down because nobody's commuting. But it's still a really strong medium.
Do you put yours on YouTube?
When we first started them, yes, religiously videoing and editing them. But like you say, you start to care about it quite a lot, don't you? What started out as, it'll be fine, and we'll do 20 minutes, and that was great, then turned into, well, let's just keep going. We used to start a stopwatch as well at the start of ours, and do like a countdown and everything. But now as we've gone on, we do just talk for kind of as long as I was going to say,
today's one was like an hour.
Yeah, it was an hour.
That I listened to. An hour long.
And so, we just trying to edit them and put them up on YouTube, and it's another job, isn't it? It
is another job, but
clipping it,
like you were saying, I can really relate to that, because my YouTube used to be awful, mainly because I think you'll never fall into an algorithm, and this is super boring for most people listening, but you're not going to really ever fall into an algorithm if you've got like a 2.5 hour podcast where the camera doesn't change. It's just literally...
Yeah.
YouTube will probably notice, like, nothing's really happening here. It's going to be a bit boring. But then the lockdown hit, and I'm like, right, I'm going to put a bit more effort into this, just doing the odd, camera trick and, like, flicking around and adding a little bit. I've done, like, a little bit more, like, vloggy stuff, and it's by no means a successful YouTube channel. It's really not. But I can sort of, like, relate to what you've said, because the YouTube is now way stronger than what it's ever been, but it's still... equates to roughly 10% YouTube views is does that work? Hang on, it's like whatever it gets on YouTube, it's about another 90% on audio.
On listens, yeah.
That's
but then the random thing is as well. So I do 2 podcasts. Well, I actually do 3 podcasts. But basically, my other podcast I do is called Reluctant Adults, and I do that with a girl that I used to work with called Lauren at the radio. She's from Birmingham as well, and she's really funny. And we do this Reluctant Adults podcast. But we just had a message today on our Instagram page saying, "Is there anywhere I can watch your podcasts?"
Really? Yeah.
And so you think to yourself, "Oh, do I need to now start doing that for that one listener?"
So.
And
I think so, man.
Yeah,
I think so, because again, like, all right, consumption's down as far as audio because of you driving and stuff like that, and not doing as much of that stuff. But at night, if I'm going to sit and watch TV, I'll often put YouTube on and I'll watch a podcast. Even if it's difficult, because if it's not, well, the thing is, what, like, the platform we're using now, we can get an HD video out of this, so it looks good.
Yeah.
But if it was like grainy and like mine used to be, and the cameras don't work, it was awful. But now it's a bit more appealing to the eyes, I think. Like, you could sit and watch it and be like, actually, this isn't too bad. And the sound quality is good, and, like, it works. And then there's certain podcasts that are really good. A friend of mine, Jace, has got one called Gypsy Tales. And it's just, like, the way he shoots it stuff, dude, it's just beautiful. Like,
really?
It's same as Joe Rogan. Like, you can easily sit and watch a Rogan episode because the camera's changing and the lighting's perfect and stuff like that. But I do think that people are more inclined now to sit and they'll just watch a podcast, even if it's on in the background on the laptop or whatever. You
get an extra layer with facial expressions, don't you? And
totally.
seeing people's mannerisms, and looking at me chewing my nails, and all kinds of bits. Not that
no, you do.
Want
to
see me
definitely,
chewing my nails, but you
definitely.
do. You absolutely do. There's a really good snowboard one actually called The Bomb Hole.
Really,
and that's set, but it's like a TV set. The way they've dressed the setup is amazing. Properly lit, 3 angles. It's banging.
Yeah. I feel like that is the future of all this stuff, though. It's funny because what the hell was that,
mate? That looks like a ghost flying.
What
through
is
your
that?
Camera.
You see, that's the thing with video. Everyone listening's like, "What was it?" I mean, if you watch on YouTube, you'll see a ghost literally just fly by my head. It's what we were talking about. Oh yeah, future
just
podcast.
The future,
so just before lockdown, I was about to sign for a studio, so I was going to go rent like an office space around the corner from my house and like build out a studio. But thankfully, we went into lockdown and I didn't do it because I'm like, this could last a long time. I can't get any guests. But that, for me, is the future of this thing. It's a space where people can come and create like more of an experience when people come and do the Hook It podcast. Like, they come in and we go for a ride, like locally, we go to a nice coffee shop, you can do all this cool stuff and create content around maybe that as well, about like a guest coming to visit and stuff. But we'll see. Like I say, but I feel like that is the next step of how to take a podcast from this to there. I don't know, might be wrong. Some of these big American comedians are doing exactly what we're doing.
Yeah.
And they're getting millions of views, millions of downloads. So
yeah,
who knows?
Bonkers, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's fun. I'm glad you're in the game, because I think when we first met,
I wasn't doing it. I was quizzing you about it right there.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, and I was like, oh yes, you need to do this, you need to do that, and this is how it works. Yeah,
mad.
Yeah, it is.
But wicked. And here we are chatting on your podcast,
mate. Finally, can't believe it. I want to know. I'm going to hit you with a question. I'm going to get a bit interviewy.
Go on. I like it.
How does a lad from Birmingham become a professional snowboarder?
Oh, because somebody decided that the best, cheapest land to build Europe's first indoor snow slope was 5 miles down the road from where I live.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So, I skateboarded as a kid, terribly. Loved it though, absolutely loved it. I mean, sign me up. I was baggy trousers, bleach blonde hair, kid of the 90s, Matt Ensley chain, rocking off the jeans. I was the full works into my skateboarding. Big time skateboarder, loved it. And my next door neighbour, Jan Nichols, I was really good friends with her son, Paul Nichols, my best mate at school, and he, they used to do ski holidays, and they came back from Breckenridge in Colorado, and she'd seen a snowboard magazine on the table that some kids left, so she picked it up and knew I was into skateboarding and bought it back for me.
Wow.
When she brought it back for me, showed me this, I was like, oh my God, what is that? It's skateboarding on the snow with no trucks and wheels. I was like, that is sick. Then the school did a ski trip, and I was like, can I go on the ski trip, please, Mom? Can I go on the ski trip, please? And she's like, yeah, okay. So I went on the school ski trip to Italy. I skied, didn't snowboard.
Okay.
But when I got back in the February, that April 1994, the Snowdome Tamworth opened, and being local, there were loads of flyers through everyone's doors, like, come and ride for a £5. So I went and skied at the Snowdome, because I loved skiing when I went with the school. It was really good. And when I came back, I went and skied at the Snowdome for £5. And walking out of there, I don't know what came over me, but I literally, as I was walking out of the centre, I've just had my hour of skiing, I walked up to the front desk and I said to the girl, do you do work experience here? And she said, well, we've only been open 3 weeks, but I don't know. So the duty manager came, Dave Fletcher, and I said to him, could I do my work experience from school here? And he was like, yeah, no problem. He said, again, we've not had anybody yet, but you can be the first. So that was it. So signed up, did my work experience there, and on day one of doing work experience, that night I had my first snowboard lesson. The girls, because it was quiet and pretty empty, and the dude, Chris Bratt, his name was, the local pro, he gave me a lesson, and I was hooked, because I could do every single skateboard trick I'd ever wanted to do, because it was attached to my feet. And it was like the easiest thing ever. I was like, I'm never skateboarding again, because it's the hardest thing ever, and this is the easiest thing ever. And I picked it up and I absolutely loved it. And then I did 2 weeks of work experience, or a week of work experience. I snowboarded every single day. And then after that, I snowboarded literally every single day. That's not even a word of a lie.
At that same place?
At that same place.
Right.
Up and down, up and down, up and down. I got a job there when I was 15.
Yeah.
Before the legal age, and I can't remember how I worked. I don't think I got paid, but I got paid in riding time, and I used to clean all the skis and stuff, and clean up all the snow off the inside of the ski hire, and then the whole 10,000 hours to perfection, theory of being good at something. I did those 10,000 hours that summer, I think. I was always there, always there, just lapping. I could not get enough of snowboarding. I could not get enough. And then I was telling my daughter this today, actually. When I was 16, I moved to America. I'd never even been on an aeroplane before, but I was just so hooked on snowboarding. I just wanted it, anywhere I could do it. Did all the contests in the UK, the dry slope contests and things like that. And I just, this is boasting, but I don't mean to come across as I'm boasting.
Shoot shot.
I just got quite good, quite fast from repetition.
Yeah.
Simply from being able to do it as much as I did it. I was the first original fridge kid, basically. And,
right, if that's what they call, is it? Fridge kid?
Yeah, the fridge kids, yeah. And just learnt to ride in a fridge, and then went to America when I was 16, and that was it. And once I rode on proper snow, and how fast that was, I was absolutely blown away. It was even faster outside. I was like, oh my God, this is unbelievable. So yeah, that was it. Yeah.
I don't really know much about the snow sports industry, as we established when we were doing the sack shoot, because I just don't, I've never really been around it. I've been snowboarding once in my life at a place called Big Bear, which no doubt you know about. Yep.
Yeah.
And I bought a dodgy lift ticket outside off some bloke, and it didn't work, so I walked up this bloody mountain, I guess you'd call it. Never been on a snowboard in my entire life. Put this thing on my feet and just hurt myself on the way down. Just slid down on my ass. I was just like, what? You know, I couldn't skateboard. I couldn't, you know, I've never been on snow in my life. But anyway, it's by the by. So I'm curious. So they opened this ski resort. Like, what was skiing and snowboarding like early 90s in the UK? Was there like people were frothing to go, or was it a new like? So, I don't know. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, absolutely. It was. I mean, snowboarding was in its infancy for sure in the UK, and actually it was the kind of thing. And I think there's still a little bit of this today. Perhaps not so much anymore, but probably when you first started, is if you saw a guy that had, I don't know, like a specialised T-shirt on, you'd be like, oh yeah, he's one of the crew. And it's the same in snowboarding. It was like you saw a guy with an A boards T-shirt on or a Sessions T-shirt, and you'd be like, oh yeah, I can talk to, he's one of my crew, you know, I can talk to him. Because there just weren't many people around, and it's that whole, the community was small back then. And there was, I'm almost second generation, probably second generation, I'd say, UK snowboarder. And there was an early crew before that. I'm trying to think when snowboarding first started. Late 80s, probably. 85, or 82, 85, 87. But it was still, there were still places where snowboarding was banned. Skiing very much.
Yeah, I heard that they used to ban it at ski resorts, right?
Yeah, so snowboarders were crazy, and they had baggy trousers, and you know, they were, you know, the punk rockers of the mountains, so to speak. So there weren't many snowboarders for sure, but there was a scene in the UK, and the snowboarders that rode at the Snowdome became a clique, became a scene, and actually there were a lot of dry slopes in the UK that had their scenes as well, but they'd have events. And so let's say, for instance, Llandudno ski resort, North Wales would have an event, resort, ski slope would have an event. So all the other little scenes would head there, but it was such a community, everyone instantly got on. There was never like any animosity. It was always like, oh, how's it going? It's the Hill End crew, and it's the Hemel Hempstead crew, and all these dry slope kids from all over. But we'd all travel, and it was, you know, it'd be North Wales one week, then it'd be in Hill End, Scotland, then it'd be Norfolk, then it'd be Sheffield.
I was going to say, there was one in Sheffield.
Yeah, there was an amazing one. Sheffield was the mecca, man. That was amazing back in the day. You know,
I used to go when I was a kid. I never did it, but yeah, my dad used to take me up. We were too poor for that shit, dude. We just used to go up and watch.
Yeah. Well, no, it's you know, it's just wicked. Just a brilliant scenes and a brilliant real community, like real and early. You know, it was early to be doing. There weren't many snowboarders back then. Well, there were, you know, a couple of hundred, 300-400, whatever. But you know, obviously as snowboarding started to get more into the mainstream, that's when the numbers swelled and got bigger and stuff. But it was. So
how did you end up going to the States then? Like, did you get spotted? Like, what was were you winning stuff in the UK at that time as well?
Yeah, so I was I think I was British junior champion, freestyle champion. There's different disciplines. There was slalom back then, slalom, freestyle. I don't think there was slope style as per se, but there were, you know, there certainly wasn't any half pipes in the UK. I mean, there still isn't, but yeah, so I was winning contests, and I picked up some sponsors, and one of my sponsors was a company called the Rocky Mountain Snowboard Tour, and it was a guy from Liverpool that used to come down and ride at the Snowdome, and he hired this chalet for the year, and he was taking bookings, and he said, do you want to come out and, you know, you can clean the chalet in the morning, and then when you're done, go snowboarding? I was like, yep, sign me up. So that's what I did. So I went out and I cleaned the chalet in the morning, and then I'd go riding all day. And
you were young too?
16.
16, yeah. 16, dude.
Literally just 16. Never been on an aeroplane before. Flew to America, to Winter Park, Colorado, and I mean, I've got an 11-year-old daughter now. I couldn't imagine packing her off in 5 years. She's not allowed. She's not allowed to leave the house in 5 years. It's like, to think that my mum and dad were like, yeah, go on.
Yeah.
But I think I was just
I
so
did the same,
into
you know. I went to America at 16. Yeah, 16.
Oh. What, to go ride bikes and just go and
motocross.
Shred?
Yeah,
amazing.
Motocross stuff. Yeah, it was, again, very, very sort of strange conversations about that. You know, like, oh, I'm going to America. They were like, what about college? I'm like, nah, I'm done. Yeah. I'm out. Sign me out. I'm done. Didn't even get my GCSEs, dude. I was gone.
Oh, my goodness. Well, it's when you've got to love something. Talking to kids, here's one. Sonny's just walked in. So you can say a very quick hello, and then you're going to have to leave.
What's up, Sonny?
Pictures of Nanny Jill and all the family on the phone. He's trying to find me something. Can you say hello quickly?
Hey, Sonny.
Say hello to everyone.
I
Oh,
This is David.
How you doing?
Say hello.
look at. I've been climbing really.
hang on.
Look.
He's been. Oh, Ren's in as well now.
Hey,
Bye.
hey, how you
Right,
doing?
This is Sonny and Ren.
Hey, Sonny. Hey,
Sonny's
Ren.
3, Ren is 5. They're eating. Oh, he can't
Hey,
see. Let's
Sonny.
see up there. Whoa, look at Sonny on the climbing frame.
There's another one here.
Oh, okay. So listen, we're recording a podcast, so that's a good one, isn't it?
Oh, that's cool. Hey, Sonny, what's the best thing about your dad?
I don't know.
You don't know? Come on, the best thing.
The skateboard.
He's a he skateboards.
I tried to skateboard, don't I?
That's cool. Have you got a skateboard ramp in your garden, right?
Look.
He's normally quite shy. He likes you. I
Oh, with his Uncle
Right.
Davey.
Say bye-bye then to everyone.
Look at this.
That's them in the hot tub.
That's cool.
Nanny Bebs. Okay, say goodbye then.
See you, Sonny.
Bye-bye. I'm okay
See
for
you,
crisps,
bud.
actually. They're the least friendly podcast snack you can have. Right, love you guys. All right, love you, mate. See you in a bit. Could you close the door, please? Yeah, no, I got it, mate. Don't worry. I'll close it. No, oh, jeez.
You can do that.
So that was Sonny and Ren.
Do it again.
There's no such thing. There's no such thing as privacy in our life.
Dude, I think it's great. Like, I love it. And I think it's been cool with my job as well, right? So usually these meetings, I had a meeting today with Halford, and something quite similar to that happened. But the guy's dog was like constantly barking. Just constantly.
Really?
I'm like, yeah. But it was really good because it's like an icebreaker for anything like that. So you've gone from, like with Halford's, it'd be like a super corporate meeting.
Yeah.
The first time I ever visited them wasn't that corporate because I actually ended up walking dog shit through the whole Halford's offices. That was my first introduction to Halford. It's like the
Are you
worst.
serious?
Yeah. I trod in dog shit on the way in, and then I walked all the way through reception, like with leaves stuck to my shoes, and oh, it was awful.
Oh my god.
And then the second time, it's been another dog-related thing. So we were doing a meeting today, and the dog's like barking, and it's great. I think it's good, man, because before it'd be super corporate, and now it's like you just accept that you're in your house and you've got kids or a dog or whatever.
That's it. It's and you're talking to. Who was I talking to? And they were saying that similar deal, but the icebreaker being the backgrounds now and being able to see people on screen, and they expect to see you on screen, and so you kind of have to have your cameras turned on and going, oh hello, and oh, I'm sorry about this, and then you're talking to people and you're like, oh well, actually, is that a Wonder Woman poster? And it's like, yeah, I've got. It's pretty mad. I was chatting to some of the dads from school, and they were saying similar thing, like. The one guy that works for IBM was chatting to like one of the top dudes at IBM, and that's where the Wonder Woman story comes from. And it's you're right. What would normally be a really corporate, gnarly situation now icebreak. It's like, wow, you got episode number 3 comic of Wonder Woman. But
it's good. I think it's good. I mean, how else do you, especially with some of the stuff I do with like meeting buyers and stuff like that. If you can have an icebreaker, it's brilliant for business, and not just business, but just relationships with people.
Well, imagine you would have travelled hours in a car to go for those 20-minute meetings, wouldn't you?
Redditch.
Yeah. And
100%.
Same here. I used to get on the train to London for meetings, and you go to London on the train, it costs you £55 return for 20 minutes. It's like, just never go back to that. Don't want to either.
No, I can't. I'm surprised you're worrying about money. I'd Google your name today. Have you ever Googled your name and seen your net worth?
Yeah. It's insane.
I was going to send you a screenshot, but I was like, maybe you are worth that much money. I'm not going to.
No. I'm worth. So if you haven't Googled my name, which you definitely haven't, I'm worth 1.2 million.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Oh, didn't you?
20.
Oh, 20.
$20 million. I was like, whoa!
Oh no, the last time my brother messaged me a couple of months ago. He's like, "Are you really worth 1.2 million?" I was like, "Do you not remember buying me a pressure washer off of Amazon because I didn't have the money for it?" He's like, "Oh yeah."
Yeah, it says 20 million now, so
flipping heck,
mate.
Mind you, I have just invested in Bitcoin, so
there you go. That's
be.
why. It's a shame you're 6 years too late.
Yeah, I know.
Oh dear. Anyway, what were we talking about before? Snowboarding, I think.
Snowboarding.
Yeah.
Going away, 16. Flying the nest.
Flying the nest, big time. So you went on your own?
Yeah, I went on my own.
What were your parents like? Did you piece out of college and uni?
Yeah, I mean, school, I wasn't brilliant. I liked it. Loved hanging out with my mates, but I wasn't super academic or anything. So school, that was quite an easy, I'm not going to go to school. But I think for me, I'm good at like classic violins. I wasn't very good at anything. I wasn't great at skateboarding. I wasn't clever. I was loud. That's, always been a good trait. But I wasn't good at it. So all of a sudden to in the space of like 2 years become good at something, all of a sudden my mum and dad were like, oh wow, okay, so actually he's really good at this. And it's not that there was a pathway, and there certainly weren't Olympic medals at the end of it, not like now. And I think there's definitely a bit of negativity towards some parents that chase gold medals for their kids and all this kind of stuff that goes on in every sport, and certainly like with skateboarding and surf and BMX, which enter the Summer Olympics at Tokyo, there'll definitely be a bit more of that, because it's happened in snowboarding for sure. I've seen parents come in and they're like, oh, well, now there's a gold medal, now we can justify putting our child through all of this. But there wasn't that back then. But actually, I was British champion. I was representing Great Britain on the world stage. So there was something for my mum and dad to be proud of, I think. And if their friends who didn't know too much about snowballing or whatever they thought it was called back then would say, my mum and dad could go, well, actually he represents Team GB and he's going to Japan to compete for Great Britain, and he's the British champion, and he's this and that. So I think it was quite easy for my mum and dad, because other than that, I was probably going to be a used car salesman.
Right, okay. So there's no family history in snow sports then?
Nothing.
Really?
Absolutely nothing, yeah.
What do you think your parents did want you to do?
I don't know.
Really?
I genuinely don't. I've never asked them that, actually. I should ask them.
Do, man. It'd be interesting to find out. So
my mum and dad are both work in the NHS. My dad's a nurse, or was a nurse. He's retired. Well, they're both retired. My mum was an advanced nursing practitioner, so she looked after premature babies. They literally did it the whole lives for 40 years. And so, my little sister works. She's gone into nursing now. My elder sister's in nursing. My nan was a midwife. My aunties and uncles all work in the NHS as well. So we're definitely a very nursey family. And I don't mind that stuff. So I think I maybe would have ended up in the NHS. To be honest. Yeah.
It's weird to think, isn't it? Like what your parents wanted or expected you to do, if that makes sense. Do you have that now with your kids? Because I don't have kids. So do you think Sunny and... Sorry, I can't remember your daughter's name.
No, Sunny. So Sunny, Ren and Lila. Well, Lila's 11 and she definitely went through a phase of, I want to be a YouTuber.
Wow.
And the only thing now we're totally liberal, wear, do, eat, whatever you want to do. Do you know what I mean? We'll guide them, and I just want my kids to be nice. That's all I want. I don't care what else, as long as they're nice to everybody. That's all that you can ask for. And but I knocked that out of her. I was like, you are not being a YouTuber. That is not a career. That is not this. But then you start to go, well, actually, is it? And should I be like that? And can she? And maybe she should. And so it's actually really hard.
I think that is the scary thing. It's like you just said. So, everyone used to say when you're a kid, computer games, just don't waste your time on them. And now you look at what those guys earn. I mean, that ninja, the RedBull athlete for playing whatever, Fortnite or whatever, he is a multi-millionaire out of playing computer games. Yeah. So how do you say to a kid it's not a career? Because kind of is.
It absolutely is, yeah.
Kind of is. It's a big career.
Yeah, it's really hard, and also, if you think how much life has changed for us in 20 years or even 10 years, but certainly going back 20 years, unbelievable change, and so how's it going to be in another 10 years, another 15, 20 years? I shouldn't be telling my daughter now, no, you can't do that. And don't concentrate on that. That's rubbish, and that's because what is that thing going to be in 20 years or 15 years?
She could be one of the early adopters.
Yeah.
And so we just look at it as a bit stupid.
Yeah, exactly.
You just said it with Bitcoin. You know, if someone said to you 10 years ago, buy Bitcoin, you'd be like, nah, waste of time. But if you bought Bitcoin and now you're 10 years ahead, you'd be a multimillionaire.
I'd be a multimillionaire, exactly.
So you never know. You just don't know. I think, I don't know. I don't know how I'd approach it either, man, if I had kids. I remember my dad saying to me, man, funniest thing, coming up to it, he's sort of leaving school age, probably a little bit younger than that, him going, I've got you a job interview. I've got you a job lined up for when you leave school. I'm like, what? Okay, what is it?
You just did the best deer in the headlights.
Yeah.
Deer in the headlights expression then.
I was like, oh, right, okay, what? He's like, well, funeral directors, like bringing in dead bodies. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. Like, I've not, we've got like some family friends that are funeral directors. And he's like, people will always die. You'll always have a job. I was like, yeah, but I don't want to do it at all. I've like zero interest in it.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so that's he's not. But my dad's, my dad's not like that at all. It was just this idea he had one day, like, oh yeah, job for life. I was like, fuck.
But maybe that was the ultimate fire under your ass to get you out there and be like,
yeah,
I am not doing that. I'll do anything other than
not
that.
picking up dead bodies, Dad. I'm out. Like, I'm going to America. Thank you.
Yeah. No, it's mad, isn't it? It's
it is. It is. So how did all that stuff progress then from being in the States, and did that like massively benefit your career? Like, what happened?
Yeah, so it did, just riding and again riding outdoors, and from there I went on to just do winter seasons. Excuse me. I was a sponsored snowboarder, a pro. I'm doing the fingers above the head pro, like
no, you're a pro.
Quote,
you
quote
can
mark.
take it. You're a pro.
Back then there wasn't a great deal of money in snowboarding. There were a few kind of corporate sponsors which would pay the way, but there wasn't the money in snowboarding that there is now, and the advertising budgets and all that kind of stuff. But I did okay, and it paid for me to do seasons and live abroad and enter competitions, and I was okay. I was good.
Yeah.
I was,
Did you base yourself in the States for a long time then?
Yeah, I did 11 winter seasons in Colorado.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'd spend my winters in Colorado, and then I would come back and work in the UK in the summers. I still had to work in the summers and do, odd jobs and make shower frames and cut Chinese takeaway lids out of card and break pallets and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, like just temporary summer jobs to get by. And then as my kind of career progressed, for like almost the last 5 seasons, I was earning enough where it would subsidise my summers and going away. And then I started to make snowboard movies. I bought a video camera, and me and Genn, my best mate, who's from Tamworth down the road, we started to make snowboard movies.
Right.
British.
And what sort of year is
movies.
this then?
So this would be like 2000. Well, I made 2 with friends in Colorado in 2000, but this with Genn it would have been 2004.
Right.
So
wow.
yeah, so 2003 to 2008 made snowboard movies with Genn, and have I got the dates wrong there? I'm trying to think. God, it's been a long time ago. But we made these snowboard movies and British snowboard films, and it just taught us. Well, it taught us loads of things. It taught us how to film and edit, and got us kind of in with a few big companies that sponsored us. Like RedBull were really supportive of us early on.
Yeah.
So we did a lot of stuff with RedBull in kind of like late 98, 99, early 2000s, and got to know all the guys at RedBull. They were really good to us. And at the same time, I actually, coming towards the twilight, or entering the twilight of my career, I had an injured knee, and I couldn't ride at one of the contests. So I was sitting there, and the contest organizer came up to me, and he went, "Here you go. If you can't ride, have this microphone. You can commentate." So I was like, "Give it here." So then I started talking and abusing everybody on the microphone, and at the end of it, he came up and gave me 30 quid, and I was like, "Oh, you get paid to talk? What?" So I very quickly figured that I could come to these snowboard events, pay to enter, ride all day, either get hurt, or if I was having the best day ever, get top 5, or I could come to the same events and get paid. and drink beer and abuse my mates. So for me, it was a bit of a no-brainer. So I quickly got into presenting, and from doing presenting and from doing commentating at these events, there was a TV director at one of the events, and he said, "Oh, you'd be good for TV. Do you want to do some TV?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll give it a go." So I ended up doing some work for Channel 4 for Free Sports on 4. Don't you remember that show?
Just
back
straight
in the
in.
Day? Yeah,
I feel like that's straight in at the deep end a little bit,
mate. It very much was. Yeah. I was doing like, honestly, I'd get there and I'd do some takes, like 50 attempts to say hello and welcome. Because it was.
I can't even imagine though what was that like. Like you've gone from sort of like snowboarder.
Well, this is it. Yeah, from snowboarder to like
in a hand.
chatting about snowboarding and about your mates on a wet weekend in Rosendale to like 9 people on the slopes, to then all of a sudden standing there at the bottom of a contest, bottom of a snowboard hill with a camera in front of you, and someone's like, "Right, go, you got 4 minutes before the finals, quick, go, do the link, do it," and you're like, welcome to the do it again, welcome to the Xbox big day out. No, you had a funny thing, welcome to so it was proper baptism by fire, but thoroughly enjoyed it, loved it, and did Free Sports on 4. And then because of my love of things like, I'm just, dare I say it, I'm an action sports fan, but I do, just love it. I love all of this stuff. I love skate, BMX, surf, mountain bike. It doesn't matter what it is. I love it and I consume it all. And so like, because of that, I did go on to do and present a lot of those other sports as well. But I could do it. I knew enough about them to do it in a way that I could be the conduit between the event and the viewer. It's somebody that knows nothing, or as I like to put it, the event and my nan. I could put it into layman's terms for my nan. Yeah. And that's how I kind of got into it. And so then,
that must be super hard though, to take a sport that like loads of stuff about, like snowboarding, and try and like almost like demystify it a little bit.
And dumb it down,
Dumb it down, yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I was super core back then. I was a snowboarder through and through, and if anybody spoke ill of snowboarding, I was like, "What are you doing, you loser? This is snowboarding, and it's serious, and it's this." But actually, when I was gifted this opportunity to work in television, you kind of realise, oh, actually, snowboarding's not the be-all and end-all of life, and there's loads of other things going on, and there's all these other cool things happening, and there's all these other amazing people and sports and disciplines and all this kind of stuff, where it kind of made me go, oh, right, okay, we're all in it together and everything's cool. Do you know what I mean? Does that? Yeah. I don't know if that makes sense. But
no, it does, definitely. I feel like with action sports, it is like one big happy family. It feels like, even at, like I did, for example, the ski and snowboard show, and I don't know jack shit about skiing or snowboarding at all, but you still feel like these are like your people. It's like fringe sport events, stuff like that. Like
absolutely.
You just fit in. It's a similar sort of dress sense. It's just a similar mentality, I think, as well, right? It's probably a lot of it.
Absolutely.
So, I know exactly what you mean, and I wouldn't like to go and commentate at all on a snowboard event, but I can see how you could quite easily, if you've got some sort of attraction to it, you pick it up and,
Yeah, and, I was gifted these brilliant roles where I was alongside an expert. I mean, my journey into mountain biking was, what was the event? RedBull. It was a RedBull inner city downhill like freestyle mountain bike event. Starts on the church, comes through the town, and ends with that whopping jump.
26 No, it's not that. No, it's the one in Austria.
Yeah. Not in Schladming.
I know what you mean.
You know what I mean? It starts on the church. It's a bit old. I don't think they've done it for a few years.
Yeah, they did it a few years ago.
But it's got that whopping like dirt landing in the bottom of the town.
Crowd everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh, what's the name of that event? That's going to do my head in. Could easily just Google it, but I'd rather just like sit on it for a few days.
Yeah.
Just beat my head in.
RedBull.
I'm going to Google it.
No, don't Google it. Not Crankworks. RedBull. Go on, Google it.
Yeah, I'm doing it. It's in Austria.
It's not in Schladming. Bad Gastein. No.
It just
people are literally screaming at their headphones.
People are literally screaming like you absolute. I was literally talking about it with someone as well, like not that long ago.
It's Tarek's event.
It's Tarek's event. Yeah, Tarek was on the podcast and we were actually talking about this event.
Oh God.
Oh man.
It's the RedBull blah 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 event.
Yeah. Oh, mate.
Tarek's screaming at his earphones right now.
Tarek's like, you absolute...
Tarek's like, Tim, I had you come to this event 3 years running. How dare you forget the name of it?
The thing is, when you put in MTB event slopestyle, it comes up with like Crankworks.
And it's not Crankworks. It's before Crankworks, I think.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, so there we go.
You can edit this bit out, can't you?
No, I won't do. You know, when you talk about it being like extra work and stuff, I usually don't. Yeah, it just comes up. Oh man, that's so annoying. I cannot remember the name of that.
When was it? 2002, I reckon.
Do you reckon? Yeah. Yeah, early 2000s, the first one. It just comes up with Crankworks all the time. It's all everything I put in is like Crankworks. I'm gonna put in town. In town. Oh my god, this has gone on a long time. People are literally like, you absolute
turning off. They're literally
idiot.
turning off.
Still doesn't come up. Still doesn't come up. It's insane.
It's the clock face at the bottom. Big clock at the bottom.
Yeah, I know it, mate. I know it all too well. I just can't remember the bloody... District Ride.
District Ride, yes!
Let's go!
Boom!
MTV experts.
So anyway...
You came here for bikes, you got bikes.
District Ride. RedBull District Ride. So anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, I was gifted these opportunities to work on these incredible events, but like I said, I was the conduit between the event and the viewer, but gifted an expert every time. So District Ride, and this was my foray into mountain biking, or freestyle mountain biking certainly, Rob Warner. He was my expert. So,
right.
You know, getting to go to these incredible events and just hang out with an expert and immerse yourself. And you'd meet the top 10 dudes and you'd interview them all. And then you'd go the next time and they'd remember you. But I remember you're the kooky English guy from last year. You're the snowboarder or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Oh, yeah. And you'd share that common, you know, like you say, these sports, like the action sports, they all share this same, certainly in the UK, but I think also anywhere, is to go and do them. It's an effort, isn't it? To go and do these events, to go and do these sports, I mean, it's an effort. So, you know, if you want to do downhill mountain biking in the UK, if you unless you live close to somewhere, you've got to get in your car, put your bike on the van, get on the roof, whatever, and drive. And it's an effort to go and do it. And same with snowboarding, skateboarding. You've got
There's a financial barrier to entry as well, which I think is quite a big thing. You know, anyone can get into soccer, football.
Exactly.
You know, it's £4.
Yeah.
It's probably less.
And you don't get really hurt. You know, the progression. You know that when someone gets to a certain level, they've been broken off so many times to get to that point, and you share that common denominator. You know, you've both really hurt yourself to be that good at that sport. Yeah. So it's so anyway, skiing, snowboarding, surfing. I kind of did a lot for Free Sports on 4, and that's how I kind of got into it, really.
So did you ever actually have like this is my final event as a pro snowboarder, or did it just transition through the knee injury and stuff?
It just transitioned, really. I can't remember what my last event was. You kind of take a step back, and actually at this point the jumps were getting a lot bigger, the tricks were getting bigger. I mean, I was doing rodeos, frontside and backside rodeos, which is where you go upside down once, but then all of a sudden it was like double backside rodeos, and it's like, I don't really fancy the double backside rodeo. I mean, they're on quads now. I mean, it's ridiculous, really? But so it was definitely the time to step away, and work was taking over, and you become accustomed. All of a sudden I was earning money, and you start thinking, I quite like earning this money. This is quite cool. So just started doing more proper work, really. Yeah.
So was all the first stuff action sports then? Was everything action sports, or did you do some random stuff? Because I know you've done some random stuff more recently.
Yeah, very much so. No, it was. Yeah, it was snowboard. Well, it was all snowboarding to start with, and then through Free Sports on 4, got into doing more kind of other stuff, surf and kite surf bits for RedBull, and then a girl that was supporting our snowboard films. She was head of comms, and this was at the time when RedBull were really early adapters of they were filming everything. They were filming all their events, and all their athletes at the time were filming everything. Yeah. And they were pooling all of this insane footage, and they had literally nothing. They didn't have anything to do with it other than put it out on. I don't think even YouTube was properly up and going for RedBull back then. So they had this archive, this RedBull archive. So Christy Poulos came up with this idea to create a TV show out of all this archive of RedBull material. So they came up with the idea RedBull Cliptomaniacs, and it was this delve into the archives of RedBull and pulling out clips and talking about them and going, hey, do you know what? This week on the show, you're going to love this because we've got this guy called Felix Baumgartner, a RedBull base jumper, jumping in from Christ the Redeemer in Brazil. Have a look at this. Wow. You'd show it, you'd come out, you'd be like, wow, how rad was that? That was sick. But now we're going to take a look at some downhill skiing action with Paddy Graham. And you just like link
like you said, like before YouTube, isn't it? So it's how did people see this stuff?
On Nuts Television, Nuts TV.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Did it for Nuts TV in the UK, and then that went off, and then we ended up making it for RedBull Austria, and it was sold. I mean, we did 5 series of Cliptomaniacs in the end.
Really?
And again, that was another way of.
Was it on Channel4?
It was on Nuts UK, but then no, it didn't. It didn't go anywhere on UK after that. We made it for RedBull Austria and then their international territories, but it was on in Australia and Thailand, Vietnam. It was on like in a couple of random airlines and stuff. Like people would be like, "I've just seen you on the aeroplane seat." It's like really weird.
I remember when we met at the thing doing the sax shoot, and we were talking about it, and you were talking about the Animal Adventures.
Yes,
show.
yeah.
Animal Adventures, is that right?
Animal Impossible.
Animal Impossible, sorry, Animal Impossible show. And thank you for sending me all the links because I actually did watch.
Did you watch some of them?
Most of them, yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah. But it was super interesting because you're talking about going and doing the show and, you know, this huge budget that they had. But yet it didn't air in the UK, but it airs all over the world. And it's just like a super... For a lot of people listening to this, probably wouldn't realise that that's what happens with a lot of TV shows.
Yeah, well, this was not last year, the year before. This was the last bit of television I did. And it's a show called Animal Impossible for BBC Studios. And I ended up working for the BBC through a couple of things. I ended up doing snowboard and freestyle skiing commentary for BBC Sport for the Olympics, which was good. And it's once you're kind of in with the BBC, you're in, you're trusted, if you know what I mean.
Right.
And so I also, as the action sports dude, I ended up doing some stuff for children's BBC as well, for CBBC. So I'd met a lot of the animal guys and the natural history people, the people that make all the Attenborough TV shows. I met them through working for children's, and this guy mentioned this idea. He's like, I think you'd be great. We'll go around the world and we'll look at all these animals and we'll debunk all the myths. It's like Mythbusters for animals. Are you keen? And I was like, yeah, of course I am. Yeah. Sign me up, blah, blah, blah. He was like, okay, well, I'm pitching it this week. I was like, brilliant. And 1 week turned into a month, turned into 6 months, turned into a year. And that went on for 4 years. Really? And then randomly out of the blue, he messaged me and he's like, hey, you still up for this animal idea? It's back on. And I was like, really? I was like, yeah, of course I am. And this was 2018. No, 2019. Yeah. And he said, yeah, it's back on if you're up for it. So it ended up getting greenlit, and it was made by BBC Worldwide in conjunction with the Chinese, with a channel called Migu, and they made it to sell. So they didn't make it for a channel like what normally happens. Normally you come up with an idea and you take that idea to a channel, and the channel goes, I like that idea, I'll buy it. So then you go and make it. Well, it was really unprecedented for the BBC studios. They'd never done anything like this. So they basically went and made the TV show and then took it around to sell. So they made it without a viewer in mind, which sounds a bit weird. They didn't really know who the target audience was. And the whole show, we filmed it over the year, April to December we filmed it. And it was a huge show to be a part of. But the difference between day one filming in April and the last day of filming in the last day of filming was on the 14th of December, and it involved Gendel getting tasered in Arizona.
Really?
It was so good, yeah. For the electric eels episode, Gendel had to get tasered. But yeah, I mean the difference between shooting, because we didn't know who we were making the show for, so the standard of television in the UK is so high that actually your program's got to be brilliant to sell.
Okay. That's interesting. Have you done much of that yourself?
That's all right. Can you hear the kids screaming?
I couldn't, but no.
Oh, okay. So yeah, so it's the show came out a little bit funky. It's. Sorry, hang on one second.
It's all right.
I just I can hear the kids screaming about something. It's just the right noise on this one. Oh god, there's literally a dirty bum hole looking at me with the downstairs toilets right outside there. When I open that door, Sonny's on all fours with his pooey bum right in the air. Hi everyone, enjoying your dinner. So yeah, Animal Impossible, BBC Studios. It was a bit of a weird. It was a brilliant show, but it's almost like it doesn't really know who its audience was.
Right.
Does that make sense? I'm literally talking myself out of season 2 here, aren't I? I
don't know. Is there going to be a season 2?
Hopefully. But you know what? Brilliant show to be a part of.
Just say how much you enjoyed it, and we'll make a YouTube clip and post that.
Please do. No, and it was so it didn't, but, sorry, I'm getting around to say it didn't sell in the UK, but it did sell to like 27 other territories. So it's sold worldwide, and again, that's in the back of BA aeroplane seats now. So if you find yourself on a BA flight in the next couple of months, you'll be able to watch Animal Impossible.
That's cool. Have you done much of that stuff yourself, like pitching shows or anything?
I have, yeah.
Have you?
Yeah.
And have you had anything picked up?
Never. No.
Really? I bet it's hard.
It's really hard. It's really hard. And we started off.
But is it a long time ago? Because is it something now you could almost not self-fund? I don't mean that, but like you could make a YouTube show out of it, and then all of a sudden it's huge.
So I just had the toilet flush. Don't know if you can hear that. Sorry.
No. Good lad. Go on, Sonny.
Go on, Sonny. Okay, sorry about that, mate.
It's okay.
So, yeah, when going, like, again, rewinding, I know we're doing a kind of lot of back and forth here. When we were making our snowboard films, we started to come up with... So our first snowboard film was called Proper, and the name came up from an American friend of ours that made... he liked the fact that we always go, oh, that's proper, that's proper. That's quite a British thing. It was very much just snowboarding, solid snowboard film.
Okay.
And we made 4. And as they progressed every season, every year, by the time we got to the last one, we started to add little bits of comedic skits, and the way we introduced the riders, we'd do a funny scene or a skit or whatever. And by the end of the 4th one, basically the 4th movie is a full-on mockumentary about making a snowboard movie.
Oh wow!
And
where could anyone, if they wanted to see it, where?
It's just actually been put online this lockdown. It's called it's called Terminal Ferocity.
Okay.
No HD. It's shot in 4:3, and there's even a gag in there to do with GoPros, because the GoPros weren't around back then. So we strap a full-on massive camera to this dude's head. But it's quite a funny thing. But that's a full-on mockumentary. And so at this point in our kind of, and again at the twilight of our snowboard careers, and as we're moving into other things, and I'm working in TV at this point, and we're making snowboard films, we're definitely frustrated directors, me and Gendel, and we're filming other bits, and Gendel's actually filming. He's working as a director and filming people like Liam Gallagher and behind the scenes music videos and all these kind of stuff. So we're starting to transition, but we've got all these ideas for different shows and things and bits and bobs, and you do try and pitch them, and we did try and pitch them, but we just hit a brick wall a lot of the time with them. And
is it one of those things like you were saying with the BBC, like when you become in the clique, maybe it's easier to get a pitch listened to?
I think so, yeah, definitely. Yeah. And also just trying to convey your idea. You're trying to get an idea across for something that you think's going to be brilliant, but also you've got to give a little bit up, because that commissioner is, well, first of all, the production company, because you can't just go in there as like, all right, I'm Tim, do you want to make this with me? You've got to have a production company that can deliver that show for that money. So you need to convince a production company. So the production company go, yeah, it's an okay idea, but maybe you need this. And so the idea changes, and then you take that idea that's already changed to the commissioner, and the commissioner then goes, yeah, I like it, but why don't you have this on it? So everybody has to have their little bit and make the changes along the way. So the idea ends up changed quite a bit from what it is. And I think when you first go in, you're like, no, this is my idea and it will be like this. Nobody's changing my art. And then by the time you get to it, you're like, literally, if you just want to take the name, you can have it. Do you know what I mean? Just anything to get it across the line. But yeah, we're back in it now, really. In fact, we've kind of gone very much full circle, and I think not really worked since the first lockdown. Done online quizzes and a lot of presenting and podcasts, but not done any TV bits. That me and Gendel are now. We've got a few things that we're really proud of. We've got a few ideas. We've got one idea is called the Nearly Men, and this is, you can watch this online. And this is, I'd say, one of the things we're the most proud of. And this was an idea that me and Gendel are playing kind of jumped up characters of ourselves. We're kind of ex-professional snowboarders, but now we're performance improving sports specialists. So PISS is the acronym. And we are basically just catapulted into the world of RedBull to help what we perceive to be their failing and flailing athlete program. So
really,
we filmed the pilot for it, and the pilot episode is online now. It's called The Nearly Men, and it's brilliant. Well, that's I can't
cool.
believe I just
I'm
said
making a note right now. When you say online, where is it? YouTube or?
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
Nearly Men. I'll put a link to it in the show description for everyone listening.
That's the spirit.
Man, I got
so
you.
we basically, me and Gendel as the Nearly Men, we go to help Baz Keep. So pro BMXer Sebastian Keep, we tried to help him reconnect with his youth a little bit and help him learn to BMX better. And then our next assignment is we go to help Mark Webber. And we cut Baz Keep's bit first, and we sent that edit to Mark Webber. We got his agent's details, and he watched it and loved it. He was like, yeah, I want to be in this. So he got back in touch. So we end up going in the back of a Porsche sports car with Mark Webber, trying to teach him how to drive, and he's ragging around Silverstone. And it's really good. But we're really, really pleased with it, like with how it came out, and we took that to a lot of people. And that never got off the ground, but it was one of those things that you're really stoked on it, and you're like, why can't everybody see it the way I see it?
Yeah.
But I don't know, maybe you won't find it as entertaining as I did. So
dude, that's interesting though. Like,
yeah,
is that how you get something picked up then? You have to commit, maybe raise the money and all that sort of stuff, and then you're trying to sell it?
Yeah, well, we definitely pulled in a lot of favours for that one.
Right.
And, being filmers and editors, we do a lot of the filming and editing ourselves anyway, and we've got filmer friends, and we've got editor mates and people that we've met through the business now, and we've pulled in quite a lot of favours throughout the years. We jumped through a lot of hoops with Channel4 with an idea called On Location, and this is, me and Gendel are both big movie fans, and so a few years ago we came up with an idea where we would go to local towns, go to local AmDram, like amateur dramatic societies, let's say we go, I don't know, to Clitheroe in Lancashire, and we go and remake Back to the Future using the town as the cast. So you'd use the local taxi driver because he's the best driver. Looks nothing like Marty McFly, but he's the best driver.
But it's the story sort of vibe.
But it's the story of getting the community to come together. Like Gareth Malone as the choir, singing the choir things. I don't know if you've ever seen those.
No. It's
like that. It's the spirit of bringing together a community to all pull in the same direction to do something fun and have a laugh with it. So, you could imagine getting the local knitting society to create all of the outfits and the costumes, stuff like that.
That's really cool, man.
Yeah, so we did it. We basically made the pilot for that with Gendel's grandma Betty, and we did Gravity, and we put her on green screen, and we got her in the spaceship. We put a bowl on her head and everything, and I mean she was 94 at the time,
really?
and she's pretending to be Sandra Bullock out of Gravity. But again, I'll send you the link to that. But that's a really endearing, like, nice watch, and something that, again, that we were really proud of. And we took that to Channel 4, and we ended up meeting with the Entertainment Commissioner. And this was before Keith Lemon and Paddy McGuinness did it. This was, like, way before them. And she was really like, oh, okay, this is pretty good. But she kind of flippantly just went, well, I can see you've done it like Gonzo style, so why don't you just go and do it and copy it shot for shot? So then we're like, oh, okay. So then we went and copied Seven, the head in the box scene with Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
We went and basically redid that on Hackney Marshes in London, and we copied it shot for shot, and again used our mates, and we colour graded it, and we did a pretty good job of that as well. I really like that. But then we took that back to her, and she was like, oh, it's a bit too serious now. And we're
my God.
What? And so that, again, pulling up our favours and jumping through hoops to get stuff done. And yeah, it never got there in the end. But again, that's another thing that we're really proud of, and we're sitting on, and we're thinking, actually, we could revisit this now, because I think one thing,
especially at the moment, there's nothing on.
Yeah, there's nothing on,
nothing on TV.
And people want to be entertained, and they want to be made to laugh, don't they?
And community, I think that what you're talking about,
and
community spirit is super important, and you'll be seeing that again, like we spoke about with the podcast. It feels like a little community sometimes. It definitely does with me. Like mine, I jokingly call mine like, we've got a podcast family, because it feels like family. Yeah, it really does. So many of these people that you sometimes only speak to them through Instagram and direct messages, like listeners, but they know a lot about you. It's community. Yeah. It's what people thrive. It's how we should be living. Like, we're meant to live in community. And if we can't have it physically, let's try and create it virtually, and let's try and help each other out. Yeah.
You're absolutely right. And it's funny, it just reminded me, I got a message on Tuesday on Instagram from a dude that was listening to the podcast, because I've got hurty knees. So I've got a turbo trainer to try and lose a bit of weight, and got hurty knees. And some guy messaged me. He's like, I'll help you get through this knee pain. Right, send me some photos. Let's see this. Look, what's your float like on your clips and all this kind of stuff. It's like really rad. And
it's nice.
You're right. People want to help people. People like living in a community, and it's nice to help people out, isn't it?
And even if it has to be virtual, and sometimes I guess you can create a bigger community virtually, because there's no barrier, there's no borders. You can just do whatever. And that's, I think, again, we're almost gone full circle. But that's what I love about this. It does feel like a legit family. Like it's rad. It's really, really cool.
Oh,
so
wicked.
I feel like, I know you got to go. You got to go hang out with.
No, I haven't got to go. I absolutely haven't got to go.
Oh, you haven't?
No.
All right.
I'm going to go and get another beer.
Oh, go get a beer then, mate. We'll chill. Let's chill for a bit. Awkward silence.
Sorry.
Stuff.
You can cut that bit out, can't you, in the edit?
Nope. Definitely not.
Cheers, everybody. Cheers.
Cheers. Sorry, man. I thought you said you were doing stuff with the kids. My bad.
Screw the kids, man. If anyone's listening, don't have kids.
And they're shitty.
Worst thing you'll ever do. Mate, I was like living the dream. I was a pro snowboarder. Next thing I know, I've got kids. No, I'm joking. I love them in a way.
Yeah. What's I love the TV stuff. Like, honestly, I'm being slightly selfish with this, because I enjoy talking about it, and I think it's a really interesting thing, and it's very rare to speak to somebody who works in that industry. It's super rare.
Mate, I'm a geek as well. I feel genuinely, I love it, and I'm a geek, and I love talking about it in a selfish kind of way as well.
No, definitely.
It's
what's been the weirdest job you've done? Like, because you're reeling off all these things you've done, and honestly, like, for anyone who's listening, Tim's done some serious stuff. Like, RedBull Soapbox is huge. Ski Sunday, obviously, we could go down a whole rabbit hole with that. All these things that you've done, but what's been like one of the weirdest one, or like maybe, I don't know, something that's just been a bit strange.
It's not super weird, but it was weird for me. So how I got in with the BBC originally, actually, this was before Ski Sunday. This was from all my action sports stuff and BMX and skate, surf, snowboard, whatever, blah blah blah. I'd made a show reel from all the footage and all the TV stuff I'd done, and I whacked it online. It was just on YouTube, and this was before YouTube was cool. And and I got a real random phone call out of the blue, and a researcher had found my showreel online, and they wanted to know if I wanted to present on a Saturday morning kids show for BBC, for CBBC, and I was like, yeah, of course, why not? So I ended up going and screen testing with two of the guys, and they were screen testing a load of guys, and I remember walking up there, and another kid was literally walking away. So they already had the two people, Naomi and Radzi, and then there was another role, and I was walking up as he was walking like back kind of thing, and I remember it was a bit like, how you doing, man? All right, yeah. He's like, oh, good, are you here? Yeah, screen testing, yeah, oh, cool. Anyway, screen tested, and I got it, which was cool, but I was basically, it was live, Saturday morning live. I'd never done any live telly.
Wow.
And that was just berserk, man. Like, I'd never... Kids telly. And so the whole premise was, it was called Wild. It was a Saturday morning kids show. It was designed to get kids up off the sofas and into the outdoors. I was the action sports dude, so I was there chatting to, mountain bikers, skaters, inliners, scooter dudes, whoever they could get on that week. There was a girl, Naomi Wilkinson. She did all the animal stuff, and then there was a guy called Radzi Chinyanganya, and he would do all the like stuff with the kids. So we each had our role in this show, and it was an hour-long Saturday morning, 9 till 10, live from location. So it was an outside broadcast.
Oh, wow.
And we'd do it from a zoo or a skate park or a cliffside or a lake or wherever we might be.
I've got a quick question. Sorry. Knowing what could go wrong in this situation, why did they bother doing it live?
Because there was no live kids telly at the time.
But what does it matter? Like, is a kid bothered? No.
No,
just
I guess
curious, like, why live? It doesn't make any difference.
I don't know. The stress levels were off the chart, man. It was, and I'm not very good at learning.
I wonder if anyone said at one stage, like, we could record this. It could go out tomorrow.
I guess it was just
I don't know.
The energy and the immediacy and it's really funny because actually we did 2 series of that. We did 2 series, 6 episodes, 6 shows, 2 years running, and it was brilliant. It was absolutely, as you can imagine, and I know you hear people say this all the time, when you work in kids TV, it's the best, and then when you work in live TV, it's the best. So working in live kids telly is just quite literally the best. And so it was like it was like nothing else. It was, and I'm not very good with scripts, so you'd arrive there on the Wednesday on the location. You'd kind of walk around Wednesday night. Thursday you'd walk around doing like camera positions and getting everything. Friday you'd rehearse, like kind of almost full rehearsal, 2 full rehearsals, and then Saturday morning you'd go live. And I mean, I'm not very good with scripts anyway and remembering things. It normally just whatever comes out. So in the end I was just running on bullet points. It's like, right, where am I going to? Where am I coming from? And that was it. and like that was weird when you talk about weird. To like week 1 to just find myself there and going, and 3, 2, and that you're live to everyone in the UK. It was just that was bonkers. That was a bit of a pinch myself moment to be like, here I am kind of thing, doing kids television, live kids telly for BBC.
How do you? So, are you sweary?
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
How do you not? Because we had this conversation with Warner. We had Warner on a podcast not that long ago, me and Ollie.
Yeah.
It was brilliant. It was so much fun. But obviously, he was like, "Well, I haven't sworn in this, have I really?" And we were like, oh, "Shit, no, you've not." And he was like, "Yeah, I can just turn it on and off." Like, it's crazy. It's super interesting.
Yeah, I'm the same a little bit. I think from just working in telly, you can't swear, can you? Really?
No.
Quite envious of the people that do let loose and do swear. I messaged a guy today, actually, a friend that made RedBull Kleptomaniacs. He's a TV exec, really nice guy, really trust him. And somebody's asked me for a CV, so I've put him down on the CV as a reference. So I messaged him to say, can I use you as a reference? And then his reply was, yeah, but I'd watch what you say in the podcast if you've got any skeletons. And I was like, I don't think I have I? I don't think I've said anything. I'm pretty good now. I'm pretty well trained. I once swore on Facebook. I had this F-laden rant on Facebook, and my dad phoned me up and went, take that off, mate. Your mom's just read that and she's not very happy. Take that off. I was about 29 at the time. Of course, I took it straight off.
Yeah, of course. I don't swear around my parents at all.
No.
Never. No. Not on, like, maybe sometimes it might slip out, but dude, same, 34, I don't swear around your mum and dad.
No, you can't.
It's just a respect thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
My dad, I've never heard my dad swear.
Really?
Never, not once. No, not once.
I swore in front of my mom last night, but for joke. I only do it for comedy, for comedy gold.
Yeah.
I mean, comedy gold in my eyes, it's probably not funny as far as she's concerned.
Oh dear. So was there like one of these sort of like TV shows or anything like that like catapulted the career? Was there anything that's like that was the crux almost? I
think Free Sports on 4 was great. I really cut my teeth doing it, and then actually Kleptomaniacs was the first inkling of me and Gendel. So that was we did that together. Kleptomaniacs. I basically came over and I said, I've got us a job. He went, what? I went, you're going to present with me. And so I kind of forced him to.
Is that how he got into it as well?
Yeah,
then?
He didn't want to do it. He was filming and directing. He didn't want to get into it. So we basically ended up filming together and doing this TV show. So yeah, probably RedBull Kleptomaniacs is what got us into it. And just doing links, just doing these cutting your teeth, just link after link after link in a studio for a week, 12 episodes, and you really get to learn and hone your craft, don't you?
Yeah,
I guess
no
going
doubt,
back to the Snowdome days, repetition, it's just the form of breeds that kind of perfection, doesn't it, so to speak?
Totally. It's scary if you look back. Like, I keep thinking, like, do I want to just go and press play, just for example, on like episode 1 of this, just to hear what it's like?
Yeah.
Because again, it's just repetition. Like, you find your groove, you find out how. And this again, talking about what we were talking about earlier about like finding your groove and just finding yourself in things as well, right? Like this has been a huge learning curve for me, and I used to be like get really not nervous, but a bit nervous, especially talking to certain athletes. You'd be like, oh fucking hell. But over time, you just learn like just be yourself, because that's all you can be anyway.
Yeah.
So you might as well just be yourself, and just whatever happens, and don't take it too seriously. And I guess. Is there a bit of TV like with that you just sort of not turn your brain off, but you just like, well, just go with the flow, just be in the moment, and that's it?
Do you know what? I think since becoming a dad, this is so cliche. Ring the cliche alarm for this
ding,
one.
Ding.
You just realise that it's not the end of the world. And I think when I left, I've never left snowboarding, but when I moved from all my focus from snowboarding into TV, it made me realise that snowboarding wasn't the be-all and end-all. And then when I had kids, it then made me realise that, TV's not the be-all and end-all, and no one dies, do they? If I get this link wrong, no one dies.
I always say that. Like, no one's dead. We're good. Like, don't worry about
it. We're all right. Yeah, just don't stress about it. And so I think that was like, I've certainly grown up a little bit. I'm quite young at heart, in case you haven't already guessed that. I'm 41, but I still think, honestly, in my head, I'm still 20. I'm still like chancing it and just making my way through life with no savings and no real plan. And it's
the best, man.
It's the best way to live. You're right. I firmly believe it is, but it's also the worst as well. But I now just realise that, are we all healthy? Are the kids fed and warm? Are they enjoying themselves? And are they being nice? Then everything's okay. And everything else can just take a back seat, and it doesn't really matter. And I know that's a real hippie-ish kind of like weird thing to say, but it's just I got through a couple of years, got really hung up because I wasn't getting TV work, and I was pushing really hard for it, and I was trying to make that next step up and trying to move perhaps into more mainstream
obviously for you, if you're not working,
and
you're not getting paid either, right?
Yeah, being a freelance, I've been freelance. Well, I've been freelance my whole life.
Right.
Say that I had a job in radio for a year, and I had a job Animal Impossible for a year. But still, if you, chasing that dream of trying to be the next, I don't know, Dermot O'Leary or Rick Edwards or whoever it might be, just trying to move up that ladder and get more work and perhaps more profile and bigger shows or whatever it might be. But you've just got to say to yourself, well, A, that's out of my control. I've just got to do a good job because I can't force myself on anybody else. And, you know, the internet, the way the internet is now, if somebody wants to see what I'm like, they've just got to Google my name and you'll get TV shows, clips and Instagram and all kinds of things. So there's no hiding what you are or pretending to be anything that you are because it's there on show. And that's the first thing. And also just realising that it's just not the end of the world, is it? No one's died. So just go with it and let's see what happens. Obviously, I'm still pushing. Yeah, I'm still pushing. I've still got loads of ideas. Still, I love doing the podcasting, and I'm trying to push that a bit more and trying to do other bits and bobs. But you know, there was a time where I was panicked and like sleepless nights because I didn't have a YouTube channel.
Yeah,
I haven't got a YouTube channel, and I need one. But just the effort of just a video every week, couldn't do it.
Weren't you doing some vloggy stuff for a bit? Is that right? Or not? No, I think no. Sorry, what it was is you were showing me the skate ramp in the garden, and you made a video, and it was like amazing, super well made. It was awesome.
Yeah, made a skate ramp video. Well, I did a loft conversion video, so I was doing that. I did that. I got into doing some DIY Instagram videos like a couple of years ago, and I converted my loft with my dad. Me and my dad did our loft, so I was doing the big Warwood loft build. # the big Warwood loft build if you want to watch it. But I did 30 videos, but that was quite an addiction. 30 days every day doing a 1-minute edit to knock out on Instagram.
That's amazing. Again, people relate to it though, man. It's crazy. People you come back and watch the next day and stuff. It is kind of crazy.
Especially when you're shit at DIY like
that. Yeah, it's even better.
Yeah, exactly.
It's even better.
Yeah, but no, it's I think for me, like going back to what we said at the start about being on your phone all day, I don't chase likes and I don't chase follows, but I think I just put things on there because if it makes me laugh, I know it'll make someone else laugh. And I think I find Instagram stories just quite easy to just film and do. And that's, but yeah, vlogging.
For anyone who don't follow Tim, he is a good follow on the gram, to be fair. You are a good follow.
Stop it. Thanks.
You are a good follow, man. You are a good follow. It's funny. I'm a fan. I'm going to shoot you a follow off the podcast Instagram shortly. Because that's an exclusive club, you see. So I've only followed you personally and through Sax so far.
Right, yeah.
The podcast is in it. You're in the club now, so you get.
I'm honoured to be on the podcast.
You get a follow.
I said to you straight away, didn't I? You said, will you come on the podcast? I said, but I can't mount. I can't ride a bike. I'm rubbish. Can't go downhill.
Doesn't matter at all.
I did have a rally. I did have a rally activator though. That was the first mountain bike with shock absorbers, as they were called then.
It's not about that all, man. It's just about cool people. I find with this, I in a very selfish way, I just talk to people that I get on with, dude. I met a guy, Ollie and I. We organised a little like get together after the first lockdown. We organised an event called Freedom Ride. And basically, we just invited all of podcast listeners to come and ride for the day.
Wicked.
And I've had a few guests on from that. One of them, you'd really get on with him, Russ. He's a sort of surf guy, and he's all about. He's writing a book about action sports at the moment, about how it positively affects your mental health. And again, you know, he does ride. Don't get me wrong, but I was like, dude, you'd just be a great guest on the podcast. Like, no one knows your name, but. You'd just be you're an amazing guy. Like, I just want you to come on and chat. Like, in a selfish way, I just want to talk to you more. Simple as that. So it's not about that for me. Have you done many of where you've brought guests in? Because I feel like with your weekend one, like you could have. I mean, if you got Warner on, for example, talk about like some of the old TV days. I know it's not like the premise, but it would be so fun. I
think that's the next inclination, the next incarnation of it is we're going to take a break. We're going to hit 30 episodes in the next couple of days, next couple of weeks even. Ep 29 next week. So we're going to do 2 more weeks, get to 30. Then we're going to take a break and we're going to come back. We dabbled at the start. We have a listener intro every time. So we have.
I heard that. I need to do one, don't I?
Yeah, you need to do one. So we've got.
Probably out of time now.
No, well that's it. Too.
Fucked up. I'll do an outro instead.
Well, you can do. We need one for next week. You can do next week's.
Okay, there you go.
So yeah, I think to bring it, to change it and add a bit more is definitely live guests. We did. Sorry, bloody hell, beer's working good.
Shout out.
The first couple of episodes, we did with recorded intros. Then we actually started doing live intros where we get someone on live. But you're always kind of beholden to their setup, aren't you? And their mics and computers and internet and all that kind of stuff. But actually, people are a lot better with it now, and things like Zoom have really helped out. So
totally.
And everyone's got Zoom, so.
I don't know if you were. I asked people to send in voice questions. Oh man, it was a nightmare. Trying to edit it in. I'm like, right, and the only one I did it with was Danny. I get roasted for saying this guy's name wrong. Danny McCaskill. Yeah. I say Danny McCaskill, but it's McCaskill. Yeah. And I did it with him. So I'm like, this is going to be a massive episode. Like, right, if anyone wants to send a listener question in, send it in. And it just got a bit awkward because I was like, right, Danny, I'm going to ask you a question. But then I'm going to put a bit of voice. Oh, it was awful. It was a right shit show. Should never have done it. But hey ho, you learn. But now, like even with this software that we're using now, you could literally just bring someone in for 30 seconds and go, all right, just hang up. Cool, you're done.
Yeah.
So that could be cool for sure.
Yeah, that would be good.
I want to switch gears on you a little bit.
Go on.
Global pandemic, right?
Uh-oh.
We're not going to talk about it because that's not what we do here. But how has it affected the UK, especially like snowboard and like snow winter sport industry? Because you've been doing Ski Sunday still, but how's that worked, and what is the state of the UK snow industry at the moment?
So, okay, this take it, everything I'm about to say with a pinch of salt, but with a little bit of truth to it. It's not been great for the UK industry. And I mean, when you talk about the ski and snowboard industry as a whole, we'll put everything in. We'll put from the airlines right up to the holiday chalets, to the tour guides, to the ski instructors, to the retailers, to everything. The only thing that's been able to happen last season or this season, still kind of just about going, very, very much nearly over, is elite sport. So like most elite sport, which is continued, ski and snowboard has. But so big that's my alarm. Sorry. So big. Say again.
Time to wake up.
Time to wake up. So big snowboard and freestyle ski contests have all happened. So as far as being a pro, I don't think there's been many changes really. I think obviously COVID protocols and all that kind of stuff and face masks, but you know the pros are still out there doing it. But as a consumer, as a punter, as a 1 week a year skier or snowboarder, you just haven't been able to do it. Nobody's been able to go away. Subsequently, holiday companies have gone down the pan, airlines have suffered hugely, resorts have suffered. You know, just it's been quite crazy really. The snow has been good. People living in resorts have been able to get up there. You know, I think France opened their resorts for a little bit. Austria, the lifts were classed as forms of transport, so they were allowed to open. I've got a friend
who lives in Austria they've seemed to have carried on in some parts, but again, you know, you're talking these. I can't remember where my buddy Sveti lives. He's got a snowboard company, but no tourism. So all right, you can go on a lift, but there's no one coming into the hotel, restaurants, shops, or anything. I was just curious as well because you said about, you know, cutting your teeth at the indoor places, but they've been shut. So there's going to be a load of youths that haven't been able to do that sport for a year. I mean, that's got to impact that next generation almost coming through. They've missed the whole year.
You'd probably think so, yeah. I've honestly not thought about it. You know, all the ski Sunday stuff was basically following contests, and all the features were filmed last year, so before the pandemic. So that's how they were able to kind of get in there, really. So it's been it's been a real tough year for a lot of people, and unfortunately, there has been a lot of companies. There's been a lot of casualties of it.
Totally.
The mountains will wait, though. That's the saying.
Will. They're not going anywhere.
They're not going anywhere. So it's
hopefully
just us.
Not.
No, it's just us that's got to, grit our teeth and get through it. I've worked on a few events which were cool. Again, elite sport events, just doing the commentary for it. But yeah, they were wicked. And the last one was out in Switzerland at the end of March, and that was a good couple of weeks. Well, that was a good week out in Andermatt working on a super ski cross event for RedBull. So yeah.
Right. There's a couple of things as well before we look towards wrapping up. When we met, the week after, I think you went out to the Rubik's Cube World Championships, right?
Yes,
and you were hustling on that Rubik's Cube, man. You were trying to get it done.
Yeah.
And we had someone turn up whose name I can't remember, who almost did the Rubik's Cube.
Yep.
There was one of the guys.
One of the models. He was the real amazingly looking guy. Like, he looked brilliant in his pants, didn't he? That dude.
Yeah, I can't remember. Was it Luke? I can't remember.
Luke. It was Luke. Was it
Luke?
Yeah.
Yeah, Luke, actually, for anyone who's not seen, and this isn't, we're not doing this just to plug this, but we did a video series with Sax. Tim was our host, which is how we met. And it was getting guys to talk about uncomfortable situations and conversations that guys necessarily don't have in public. And one of their guys was called Luke, and Luke actually stuck with me and still sticks with me the most, because he was one of the guys out of everybody who you were like, what has this guy got to moan about? Like, what could be good? Isn't it? He body like an Adonis.
Mate, he looked like he was chiseled from mahogany, didn't he? He was so good looking.
Yeah, he was. And he was actually the one. So we interviewed all of these guys before, and I missed him. But the two girls and Darren, I think, from Sax interviewed him as well. And he was like, honestly, like, he's really good. And I was like, what can this guy possibly bring to the table? He is a beautiful man. He's young, he's attractive, he's a model. But he stuck with me the most because there was a question in that that you posed to him, which was like, what is it to be a man? And I'll never forget him saying, like, he said something along the lines of, like, to him, it's to feel. And I was like, that just like hit with me. I was like, wow, like, what an amazing thing to say. And he had a really good take on life and relationships, being a young guy and a good looking guy too. And yeah, it was anyway, I've gone on a bit of a tangent with that. I'm sorry, but how was the Rubik's Cube World Championships? That's what I was getting around to.
Well, the reason is because Luke I couldn't at that point solve the Rubik's Cube, and Luke very nearly solved the Rubik's Cube, didn't he? That's what That's what
very nearly.
There. Yeah,
very close. He had like however many sides done.
I mean, I feel like I should just go and get the Rubik's Cube and show
you. Did you do it?
Show you how good I am now. I can do it in 2 minutes.
No.
Yeah, man. I've got it down.
Really?
I've got so there's one way to do it. Basically, one way. You solve the side and then you build off that side.
So you learn as well. Like, this is your lockdown learn.
Yeah, lockdown learn, man. Learn to do the route. Oh, man. I learned something in lockdown. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, that was your lockdown learn. Because when you brought it, it was a crazy cool thing because it connected to your phone and it...
Yeah.
It did all sorts of weird shit, but yeah, you learnt that then through lockdown. That's insane.
So I learnt it, so I can now do the Rubik's Cube, which is cool.
It was really cool because when we finished that campaign, like, I came home, whatever, and then it was on TV like a lot here. All the BBC, like the news breakfast shows and stuff were talking about it, and I was like, "Fuck!" Like, Tim's out of that. That's insane. That's so cool.
So I went and presented that, which was cool. No, it was really good, really fun to be a part of, and actually that was my first job back with RedBull for a few years. I hadn't done much work with RedBull for quite a few years, so it was really nice to be asked back to join the family again and do a few bits and bobs with them. So I did that, and I did the freestyle football World Championship, so like the keepy uppies and all that kind of stuff, which was really good. Those guys and girls are super talented, eh? Like, my God, like basically sea lions with legs. So
how many kick-ups can you do?
Oh God, like 10.
Max, I reckon I could double digits, but it'd be a mess. It'd be all over the place.
Oh, and the last one would be like over next door's fence.
Yeah,
I mean? Like,
it might be a header.
10,
it'd be a diving header.
Totally. Yeah. Diving header, yeah.
It'd be a diving header to get the double digits.
Really good. Stoked, and you know, at the time as well, I think we were in lockdown, or it was and so
when we met, it was that little bit that the brakes came off a little bit, and you could go, because we went to that restaurant, and it was a bit awkward, but we went to that restaurant. So like restaurants were open, but you could only stay in for X amount of time. You had to have a drink, one drink, and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And then
food,
we did
you
go
had to eat, didn't you?
Yeah, you had to order food, which was obviously it's okay, but yeah. And then we went back into lockdown, I guess, almost just after it.
Mm-hmm.
So weird year. Like I say, we don't want to go down the pandemic route.
Nah.
So, yeah, it's a weird year.
I'm stoked you reminded me that I got a lockdown learn though.
You got a lockdown learn, man.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. I ain't learned shit through lockdown.
I did have to use the app to help me.
Did you?
Yeah.
Mate, the fact that you can do it now in 2 minutes is mind-blowing.
Well, that I've remembered it, so yeah.
Yeah.
I never got there. The best thing about it, the best thing I learned actually from doing that show about the Rubik's Cube was the guy that created the Rubik's Cube didn't, Mr. Rubik, he created the cube, smaller one, and then he got to the 3x3, so the 9 pieces on each face, and he jumbled it up. He would jumble it a little bit and then go back, and then jumble it a bit more and then go back, and then he jumbled it up and couldn't go back. And that was it. And that's how it was born. And he then had to learn himself to solve it.
That's pretty cool, isn't it? That's a good fact, man. That's cool.
So he didn't know, like, he just basically got totally lost. Because you'll get it jumbled up and you're like, oh no, now where do I go? It's gone.
I'm going to buy one.
They're brilliant, actually.
I'm going to buy one.
They are... You can get one called the Rubik's Connected, and it connects to your phone and it teaches you. And even though it's teaching you and showing you how to do it, it's still a hard process to remember and to learn.
Yeah.
But I don't know how you could ever pick one up. I don't know how you could ever pick one up and just solve it. Because there's the one move to change the corners, you have to do the same move 3 times, then flip the block 90 degrees and do the same move 3 times. Who would ever
you'd never
stumble
know that.
upon that?
I think I did have one as a child, and I think I just used to play around with it that much that I'd hope that one day it would just fall into place.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like it... I mean, it would, but it'd be a lot... It'd be 10,000 hours probably until it did.
Well, the Rubik's Connected one, it does actually come apart. Like, the little bits can pop out because it's got this central ball in it. That's how they're all bits connected. But the kids will play with it and they'll pull the bits off it and then pop them back in. But if I'm playing with it, I know if the bits are in the wrong place.
Do you?
Yeah, you can tell.
So you're like a pro now, basically, is...
I mean, I don't want to... No, I'm nowhere near a pro. The guy's the fastest solve on the... Bearing in mind, I did it for 2 or 3 months solidly. Yeah. I learned to do it with an app, and I've done it loads. I can get it down to just about 2... I did it just under 2 minutes. My fastest ever time, 1:58, I think. The fastest kid... the fastest kid on the night did it in 5.5 seconds.
Holy...
I mean,
insane.
It's a blur. It's a blur.
Yeah. God. What was it like, that event then? With the, like, not a crowd, obviously. Oh, that was virtual,
It was virtual. They were all in their homes.
Yes, they had like a pad, didn't they?
Yeah. Well, they were doing it on the app. So the app they were using the Rubik's Connected cubes, and they were doing it. And the app, as soon as the cube's solved, it stops the timer on the app. Wow. Yeah, it's amazing.
Insane. Are you doing the Wings for Life run with RedBull?
No, we recorded the voiceover. There's an app. There's an app you can use, which you have in your ear. And,
are you on it?
Yeah, me and Gendel recorded the voiceover bits.
Brilliant. That'll be cool. I got a bunch of people doing it, like from the podcast team.
Oh, amazing. So I think I might run it, actually. I think I should run it, actually, really. So, see how
will you listen to yourself?
Do you know what? I'm going to say the disclaimer now. I think they've binned me off.
No, have they really?
So I think it's going to be Gendel and a girl now, if I remember correctly. I remember seeing an email when I was in Switzerland at the end of March. So I think I've been Darth Vadered. You know that story, don't you, about Darth Vader? David Prowse acted the whole of Star Wars.
Yeah.
A New Hope. Acted the whole thing. Got into the cinema on the premiere night. Sat next to Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher and all the stars. Watched himself. And he'd been dubbed by James Earl Jones.
Oh, didn't know that.
Because he's a Yorkshire and he's like, oh, by gum, Luke Skywalker, you put down that there lightsaber.
That's exactly what it sounds.
So they dubbed it for James Earl Jones.
You buy gum, it's scaled up beer.
Are you using the Force? I'll tell you. Yeah, I think that's the story. So yeah, anyway, I've been Darth Vadered from it. So it's I think it's Gendel and a girl doing it.
Okay.
But it'll basically be Gendel giving you either encouragement.
That's cool. I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna use it. Yeah, I'm gonna do the run anyway. Like I said, I've rallied a few of the podcast family up to get involved, and
oh, nice.
Because I've had a few of the guys that are part of the team, I guess, on it. So like Tarek, he's
wicked.
He's heavily involved.
Yeah.
A few people. There's a guy called Aaron Baker who I had on the podcast years ago. He's got a Netflix documentary which is really interesting. About he was a motocross guy, crashed, paralysed, and he somehow has sort of, I wouldn't say he's healed himself. I can't quite remember the whole story right now, but yeah, he's part of the Wings for Life sort of team.
Amazing.
And then Martin Ashton, had
wicked.
Martin Ashton on a few times. So
yeah,
cool. Yeah, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it done. But yeah, cool. Dude,
let me know where I can donate. I'll donate to you.
No, just do the run. I think that's all you need to do, isn't it?
Are you not going to do it and raise any money? £1 a mile.
No.
50p a mile.
Mate, I'm not in the best running shape at the moment. I'm riding a lot.
50p a K.
I do it 50p a K.
50p a K.
No, I'm not in the best running shape at the moment. And I know what I'm like. Anything like that that's charity, I'll just end up literally leaving it all on the table and pass out somewhere.
I have worked on that event, the actual when it was in a proper event, and I stood on the back of the catcher car with...
Oh, wow. Running people down.
Yeah, effectively. They stood me and Genn on the back of the catcher car, gave us megaphones, and we had to basically shout at everybody as we caught them up. So people running as hard and as far and as fast as they physically can until me and Gendel then go past with a megaphone going, "Well done, Bab! Bloody hell, you've done great!" I couldn't think of anything worse now I think about it. How bad. Me and Gendel shouting,
just
"Well done!"
by that voice for the rest of your life.
And starts off in the centre of Cambridge, and then runs out into the countryside. The winning dude ran 70k out into the bloody countryside. Well, if you're doing 3 or 4, 5, 6, 7, 8k, you're still in, you're in kind of like...
He's out.
Mate, he's gone. But you get into the people that are running 15, 20k, they're then having to get picked up by the sweeper bus or continue for another 3k to the bus stop to be taken home. So
it wasn't a round run?
No, it's like you just keep running until the catcher guy catches you. So the guys that are running 30k or 25k, I mean, they're miles out now into the countryside of Cambridgeshire. With me and Gendel going past, they're drenched in salt from the sweats coming off them. They're dying, and we're going past going, "You've done really well, bloody hell!" Shouting off the back of this car as it passes them, and they're like, "Where's the bus stop?" And you look at the app, and you're like, "It's another 6 kilometres ahead." It's never felt so bad in my entire life. It's the worst.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, no, I don't think it was quite that bad, but it was.
Wow.
Yeah, it was do you know what? An incredible event to work on to see. Yeah,
it's cool. I'm looking forward to it, actually.
Human spirit and mankind rallying together.
Yeah, I spoke to one of the dudes who's saying they're expecting it to be the largest virtual running event in the world. I think it might already be that, actually, but they want 1 million people doing it in a couple of years.
Wow.
Is it 1 million? Might be 100,000. Don't quote me on million.
Million sounds bigger. Donald Trump would say 1 million. Just say 1 million.
Yeah, they want 50 million people running it.
I heard
the world's gonna
everyone in the
axis.
world is going to do
it. Dude, I think we should... it's been nearly 2 hours.
Holy crap, I'm so sorry.
No,
for 2 hours.
Absolutely. I think we could probably do a part 2 quite easily as well, to be honest.
Yeah, but anytime.
Thank you so much for being a guest. Sorry it's taken so long.
Don't apologise at all.
There's going to be some links in the show description for people to check out some of the stuff you've done. Your Instagram's down there too, so if anyone wants to follow Tim, go down, follow. Is there anything else you want to is there anything you want to promote? Obviously your podcast.
No, not at all.
It's actually really good.
Don't even go and listen to the podcast. It's honestly, just keep doing what you're doing and stay radical and just let's all be nice to each other and be happy. Life's too
trying,
short,
aren't
isn't
we?
it? Yeah.
Yeah, it is, mate. It is. Life is too short.
Honestly, genuine pleasure. Thanks for having me on. Like I said at the very, very start, it feels it's a novelty, isn't it, to be asked? And it's, I guess, in many ways, we're all searching for some kind of what's the word I'm after? We're all searching for some kind of not praise, but some kind of
notoriety.
meaning. And I think, you know, when someone asks you to do this, it makes you feel important. And yeah,
You're important. You're a human on this weird spinning rock. You're important.
I know.
You could change it. How weird is that?
Ball. How weird is that? I know.
You could change it.
We'll do this in part 2. I'll have a few more beers and we'll go.
Yeah, we're going to change the world in part 2.
Let's
leave it a few months, then we'll do another. Let's do it. Let's keep going.
Man. Pleasure.
Absolute blast. Thank you. And thanks, as usual, to everyone listening. If you have enjoyed listening, like, share, comment, whatever you want to do.